Well, I guess I'm most known for my swimming and probably my bald head. I grew up I was actually born in Poland. I'm a son of a migrant family that traveled around the world a lot. We moved I think I lived in 4 different countries before the age of 10. So, and in 2012 we ended up coming to Bali. So, yeah, I'm probably most known for my swimming prowess in Australia. Well, the interesting thing is that when I work here at Finn's Rec Club and I see some of the expat kids or the kids that are part of the programs here, that I started just like them. I was living in a kind of foreign country and a different culture, and for me, I actually learned at a place called the Bridge Candy Club, which is also a country club or a rec club, and I spend many hours a day at this place because it was a great place for a family to be together, and it was kind of a very safe and secure place for families and kids. So probably my first memories were actually swimming lessons with Mrs. Bettina, which was my first ever swim teacher, and I think I learned to swim at the same time I learned to walk. So it's eating ice cream and learn to swim. Those are my first memories. Pretty similar to the kids here too. Yeah. I went back a few years ago, and it's amazing when you're a kid, everything looks so much bigger and grander. So, but it was still very nostalgic. I went back with my sister, and I met my first swimming teacher, and it is special to see those physical buildings, but then the memories that come with them too.
And it's nice to see everyone grow, and even the place grow. Like you said, when you're younger, it just seems so much smaller.
Absolutely. So I mean, when you grow up, you see your memories are generally from photos, and it's your parents explain or give you extra details. And when I saw the place with more of an understanding of my past, you start putting pieces together of who you are. I think as an athlete, and especially in an Olympic sport, the number one sort of goal would be to win Olympic gold, and I was lucky enough to do that twice. And another opportunity that doesn't come along very often is doing it in front of your home crowd, and doing it in front of all the spectators and public that been supporting you for so many years. So having the opportunity to have the Sydney Olympics in 2000 was just phenomenal, and winning a gold medal, breaking a world record on the opening night, for me that's it had a great drama story behind it. It was really sensationalized by the media and everyone in the world of sport, and even beyond. So that is a very special memory for me. But also individually, at the age of 20, I became world champion and world record holder. I had a lot of success when I was young, so that 98 to 2000 was a bit of a purple patch for me.
Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, after all your hard work and everything, that achievement must have been huge.
Yeah, but the thing is, like in sport, there's no guarantees, and it's more of a relief, because there is millions and millions of athletes that put in hours upon hours of hard work and dedication, and it comes down to the fractions of a second, and you have to perform at a certain time of an evening, and so there's a lot of things that can go right and wrong. And for me, I've been able to get a few races right, but also many that didn't go right, and I still to this day sometimes lose some sleep about the ones I wish I won. Yeah, I think especially in swimming, and then swimming is, as we know, it's not an easy sport. There is certainly a lot of work that's done behind, I guess, and anything that we see on the TV, where the swimmers get up on the blocks and race, and there are so many different variables, from technique to obviously swimming in a medium that we're not designed as humans to swim. So the technique aspect is so important, and it's almost rehearsal every single day. And then you've bring in the mental aspect of the sport of trying to perfect, how tough you are mentally, what pressure you can withstand, and then you start, you obviously have your lane, but then you start obviously competing against. Yeah, definitely. I think, again, it's almost a bit of a cliche, but I think my biggest learning in my sport was a disappointment that happened at my first Olympic Games. I went to Atlanta ranked #1 in the world, and probably with the expectation of coming home with the gold, and everyone thought I was just going to clean up my event, 200 freestyle, and unfortunately I was still very kind of immature on that stage, and I faltered, and I missed the final, and it was a really heartbreaking experience, one that I didn't want to repeat and feel that emotion again of that race. So that made me really assess not only myself personally as an athlete, but assess where I was going, what I could do better, strengths, weaknesses. So from that, actually, that experience really shaped me as a person much more thoroughly after that, because I've been able to then, I guess, establish pillars that I've been able to kind of stand by for the rest of my life since then. Well, when you're an elite athlete and you live in a place called the Australian Institute of Sport, where it's very much, it's like a factory of athletes, all living under one roof, and everything besides us doing our pursuit, everything is taken care of. So from nutrition to recovery to biomechanics, and so we have there's an amazing field of experts, and all we have to do is to make sure that we recover well, we turn up to training, we do our job. So going into normal life or transitioning into normal life is quite hard. You need to start prioritizing life differently. You've got different obligations. I had a family. I needed to, I think the priorities changed completely. So I think adjusting with that, I think, a lot of athletes at the professional level have an issue with I guess more of an identity shift that happens, and not that you lose your identity. I'm always going to be the bald swimming Aussie, but it's it's not what I'm doing currently. That's in the past, and you can forge a new identity, which obviously I think people know me for other things that I've done since then. But it can be difficult. You have to learn to fetch for yourself, but yeah, it has its challenges definitely. Look, I think when it comes to a learning process, it has to have an element of structure to reach certain objectives within our sort of learning guidelines and teaching guidelines. But predominantly, it has to be fun. The kids have to enjoy the experience. I mean, so many kids here spend so much time either in the villa pool or here. So I think we emphasize, so there is a technical aspect of their teaching where it's really structured and regimented, and implementing some practical things that are very useful for water safety and just safety in general around the pool. So the Klim Swim program originated back in 1997, so it's been around for a long time, and it's proven and it's awesome certified. So we've had great joy in sort of building that program here at Fins, and having instructors that have worked with us for over 20 years come over here and teaching the current instructors here. So we really pride ourselves on maintaining it at a high standard. So there is a big focus on quality of the teaching, but also with a fun aspect to it as well. To be honest, I started Klim Swim because of two things. COVID, one, COVID threw a lot of a spanner in the works, as you say, and I had some health issues, and I got sick, and I couldn't travel, and I was in a very demanding sort of job previously in retail, and I was traveling a lot and quite demanding on my body and mentally, etc. But COVID and my health made me choose a different career path, and I never thought I'd be back on pool deck and teaching and coaching, but I'm really sort of I've realized what's important in my life, and the great thing about Bali is that it is lifestyle by design, and you can do things that I can still do rejuvenating practices to make sure I'm looking after my health, but then I'm doing something that is quite fulfilling for me. Teaching a skill that I've known my entire life to the next generation it's a really fulfilling sort of thing that I'm enjoying doing. So the great thing is that we've had an amazing retention, or a lot of athletes coming back to us, from day one when they come for a week or a day, we've had them coming back and over again. So that is, for me, that's a great testament to our instructors and teachers, and also the fact that they like the program. So there's something that we must be doing right.
Yeah, also it's great because you're doing something that you loved, and now you just get to share it with everyone else and teach them about it.
Yeah, absolutely. I sort of look at it initially. We've grown. We've just opened Klim Jakarta, and we've got a couple other sort of venues. And I traveled the world and do clinics and spread the whole Klim Swim message. But the thing it's still, for me, it's more of a passion project, which is it's taken completely different shape that I expected. It's actually an achievement not just for me but for my entire family, because we started it all together. I was still competing as an athlete, so I wasn't very hands-on, wasn't very involved in the business, and my mum and dad ran it, and my sister came on board, and through COVID we had some disturbance in the Australian market, so I've been able to sort of take the reins from them and I guess carry on a bit of a family tradition. So it means a lot to me, and now my partner Michelle, who's here in Bali as well, so she helps me a lot, and I think it's also helped me reunite with a community that I was very close with for years and years. So it sort of definitely feels like something that it's not foreign to me, and it's taken a couple of years to build, but it's very exciting. I think we spoke about that shift in identity as an athlete, and I recognised that I had to make a shift and find a new pursuit outside of the pool. And for me, I had a couple other interests. Obviously, Klim Swim had already started. I enjoyed property development, and I wanted to create my own brand. I've endorsed many other brands, a lot in the health and wellness space, also in fashion. But the whole grooming space was something that was untapped in Australia, and there wasn't many products for Aussie men, especially designed by another Aussie guy. So there was an opportunity, and obviously I had a lot of exposed skin, and I thought, I did a little bit of research, not too much, and took a little bit of a gamble and presented a range to one of our biggest department stores, and they took it, and the rest was history. And I was with the company for 13 years. We exported to 16 different countries and went from men's, women's, baby products. We did some sports supplements. The brand probably grew more than we expected, but it was, I learned a lot. Unfortunately, I didn't do any tertiary education, so I had to apply a lot of my learnings from sport into business, and a lot of it is more about attitude and mindset, and some focus and communication and perseverance, just more character traits rather than actual knowledge. The knowledge I acquired on the job are very similar to as I'm still learning every day when I'm on pool deck, and that was also happening while I was running a business. So I think having a great team, which you guys obviously do have here as well, that was probably the most important thing. That your team represents you throughout or anywhere. So if all your staff live the brand and understand the passion that you're bringing into the product, you're halfway there. It's a really good question. I don't think I had one in my life. I think I had a mentor that in different parts of my life I had different mentors. I think in my swimming career, definitely my coach Gennady Turetsky. I moved out of home when I was 16, so he became my father figure, and I would literally do whatever he said I would do. So your coach, it's interesting how much of a influence your coach can have on your life, and mine certainly did. But I think I've been definitely very much guided by my dad. But I've had amazing friends that have, we've always lived very similar lifestyles and had, not always great experiences, and we're trying to learn from them, and supporting each other through those difficult times is probably, a lot of my best friends have been my mentors as well.
So you have more than one coach?
Yeah, absolutely. I decided, well, actually the opportunity came about at a very opportune time when COVID unfortunately was causing havoc, but I think we have very similar values. I think obviously Finns offer so much to the community, from not only just kids and extracurricular activities, but sports in general, but it's very wholesome. It's a great place to be, and it really, for us, it was a great partnership, because it enabled us to be in that sort of right in the middle of this kind of, in the nucleus of all this activity that's constantly changing. There's great activities happening all the time. The kids are always happy, enthusiastic, they're motivated, the fact that they're coming and learning new skills. So for us it was a great partnership, and I think that what Finns recognised was the importance of Learn to Swim, the water safety aspect of it, and the skill that these kids can then take with them for life, forever, wherever they end up. And it might save their life in the pool or the ocean one day, or it might take them to the Olympic Games and win an Olympic gold medal one day. Who knows? But that's how I started my swimming career, in a very similar environment. And so yeah, I'm very grateful for Finns taking a chance on our program.
Yeah, we never know what the future really gives.
Never know.
We never know.
Let's hope they remember us.
So, tapping a little bit onto the young kids and everyone here at Klim Swim, what would you say to young kids who want to become elite swimmers, or they want to pursue that professionally?
I think when it comes to pursuing something at a professional level, and it's almost making a decision that you're going to devote almost your entire life to this pursuit. It's very competitive, not just in sport, but on a professional basis when we're out there, if it's job seeking or anything. It's so, I think you have to almost have this elite mindset in everything that you're doing, from nutrition to recovery to time management to concentration, all these sort of things. So I think there is a point in a young person's life where they have to be pretty clear that they're going to devote themselves to that level.
Yeah, I mean, like what we spoke earlier, there's so much hard work behind it.
Yeah, there is hard work, but I think when you love something, or you love a pursuit of something, the process, and it's also really it's finding more about yourself. You can learn. Okay, maybe physically you may not be able to reach a certain standard in the pool, but you learn so much more about your character, and you can take that into other pursuits as well. And so it's not necessarily always about the outcome in the swimming pool, but it's certainly, athletes and swimmers are certainly very employable people. So I think the fact that they've set high goals, and they've got good values in terms of perseverance and determination, all that sort of stuff. But I think sport can really develop, adolescent kids really well.
So Michael, we've heard some pretty wild stories about your pre-race rituals and superstitions you had back in your competitive swimming days.
Yeah.
So I'm going to run a few of these by you. So the first one is that apparently you had a ritual of shadow boxing and slapping yourself hard across the face to get pumped up before. Is that true?
No, that's not true. Actually, that was one of my main competitors, Gary Hall Jr. So Gary Hall was renowned for shadow boxing behind the blocks, and the slapping was another competitor of mine, Cesar Cielo from Brazil. He would end up with a completely red raw chest from just banging his chest with a lot of vigor. So yeah, it wasn't me. Look, I definitely was pretty energetic behind the blocks and pretty amped, but I didn't do those things.
Would he ask people to slap him, or did he?
No, he'd just do it himself.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I was like, okay.
Well, not just once. We pretty much do it every single time we raced at a elite level. If there was a big competition, I think shaving down, as we call it for swimmers, it's very common. I think pretty much. Yeah, I'll leave it to your imagination, but pretty much my entire body would shave down before our races.
As a big heavy metal fan who loved listening to bands like Slipknot to get fired up, which other artists or groups did you rotate through your pre-race playlists?
I was a big fan of the Foo Fighters, and actually the funny story is that when I bought an album in the States, this is back in the CD days, you get a free tattoo, and I put the tattoo on my shoulder, and the record company picked it up. They saw me wearing the tattoo, and they said, "Oh, can we use a photo with you and the tattoo on the next cover of our next album?" So they did a special release, limited edition Foo Fighters cover. So if you Google Michael Klim and Foo Fighters, you'll see me and my shoulder with the Foo Fighters tattoo. So yeah, Foo Fighters and Metallica were also my favorite bands. Well, yeah, hang on. Yeah, that's it. There you go. I'm not lying.
That's so funny.
No, I haven't. No, it's, yeah.
Well, now you're gonna have to.
Yeah, I know.
That'd be amazing.
I'm not sure if it's not in order, but there's a few things. I would say that the 50% off on a Monday night for dinner, that's right up there. I spend a lot of time here, and I do my rehab for my condition, so I like the gym, and especially now the new refurbishment. It's been great. Ice baths are fantastic. But I also like the fact that there is always something new happening. And even at the beach, and there's something to look forward to all the time, which I like. There's a bit of you know what you're going to get. Let's say your Sunday roast, which is a very regular thing for our family. But then, for example, it was amazing to go to Fat Boy Slim on New Year's Eve. So it's a real great sort of balance here between fun and or just everyday life.
You went to Fat Boy Slim?
Yeah, of course. I was sitting there next to Bo. It was great.
Yeah, the time of your life.
That was great. I decided this year, well actually last year, to write a memoir, and there's been a lot that has happened in the last sort of 5 years, and obviously from COVID, but my health, and my partner and I, we're starting the Klim Foundation, which is going to be helping patients and support crew of anyone suffering autoimmune conditions similar to mine. And there's been so many great developments in terms of me personally, but I wasn't ready to share a lot of these stories, especially because I think I didn't really sort of address a lot of those things in the past. Before, I was always striving and moving forward, but through COVID and even my health issues, it gave me a chance to kind of more slow down and kind of look back and I guess reflect in a way as well. So it's been a cathartic process and a little bit nostalgic as well. So I spent 7 months writing the book, and it's been done now. So yeah, I'm sort of looking forward to seeing what people think of it. But it's hard. It's amazing when you have to bring things up from the past where a lot of the things we put aside, either it was a good memory or a bad one, but and how we remember it, and when you try and rehash it years and years after it, it comes out completely different. So we'll see how it's received. But it was a good process.
Yeah, I'm sure. And like you said, revisiting all the fun memories, both the good and the bad.
Yeah.
That's huge.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm pretty sure I'm looking forward to that one. We're all going to be looking forward to that.
No, I'll bring one for the aqua shop. put one on sale out there.
Well, Michael, thank you so much for coming and for everything. And
my pleasure.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Beautiful.